Welcome to the Osseo City Council and Mayoral Candidate Forum. I'm Steve Erickson, Executive Director of the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce. We serve Osseo, Maple Grove, Brooklyn Center, and Brooklyn Park. And nowhere is that service more important than what we're doing tonight in concert with the League of Women Voters of Brooklyn Park, Osseo, and Maple Grove. We're co-sponsoring this candidate forum to encourage voter interest in the upcoming election on Tuesday, November 4th. It's important to note that neither one of our organizations endorses any candidates for office. We'd like to thank the Osseo City Administration for the use of their facility for this forum, and Northwest Community Television for their support in televising this event live and for their scheduling of the cablecast replays. It's now my pleasure to introduce President Eleanor Johnson, representing the League of Women Voters for our area.
I'd like to thank the Chamber and Channel 12 for videotaping tonight. Candidate forums are an excellent way for the community to get to know the individuals running for office. It also provides an open venue to allow individuals to ask candidates questions that are important to them. Our moderator will be happy to ask your questions if they are legible and meet the following criteria. The question has not been asked before, and it's not a personal attack on any of the candidates. If you would like to submit a question, please raise your hand, and the ushers will bring you a card. When you have finished writing your question, raise your card up, and someone will pick it up. Please submit your questions early so the moderator may ask them before the closing statements are made. Now, I'd like to introduce Roberta Martin, who is our moderator for this evening. Roberta is a member of the Brooklyn Park Osseo Maple Grove League of Women Voters and lives in Brooklyn Park.
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, I would like to welcome you to the Candidate Forum this evening. The League of Women Voters is an organization that is non-partisan and volunteer-based. It is organized at the local, state, and national level to encourage citizens to participate in government. While the LWV members do study and take stands on issues, we do not endorse or support political parties or candidates. The LWV does encourage each member as individuals, as we encourage each of you to get involved in your community and the political party of your choice. However, the views expressed in this forum are those of the individual candidates and not those of the League of Women Voters. By sponsoring this forum this evening, the League provides an opportunity for citizen participation and exposure to candidates, but does not provide an endorsement of any candidate or candidates. All viable candidates have been invited to participate this evening. Tonight's forum will be Osseo City Council and Mayor. In tonight's forum, the candidate will start with 5 of 6 questions they receive in advance, in which they have 1 minute to respond. Then our candidates will have up to 30 seconds to respond to each of the questions that are coming from the audience. Finally, they will be given 1 minute for the final question, that is their final statement. Candidates, the League would like to request you to refrain from making any personal attacks on your fellow candidates. I'd like to take this moment to point out our timekeepers for this evening. They will show you when you have 15 seconds to finish your statement. Then show you that your time has expired. Please finish your sentence at this time, as I will be directing the next speaker's turn. The order has been randomly selected. For the audience, please remember to turn off all your communication devices at this time, and there will be no photograph for the duration of the forum. At this time, I'd like to introduce the candidates. Donald Jackson, Harold Johnson, Larry Stelmach, Dwayne Pope.
Poppy.
Abby Pope.
Poppy.
Poppy.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Dwayne Poppy.
Yes.
Okay. Rick Welber, Annie Zelnak, and Daniel Spanner. I think at this moment Daniel is not here, but we will proceed with that. And our first question now go to Daniel Jackson. Please tell us about your background and previous city involvement that support your candidacy for this position.
Thank you and good evening to everyone. My name is Donald Jackson. I'm a resident here in Osseo for 4 years. I have 3 sons. They're 34, 27, and 16. In Minneapolis, I was very active in the community for about 15 plus years in the areas of community organizing, community crime prevention, also being a liaison between the city and the community, a community developer for nonprofit organizations within that community. Most of my position would require me to engage the community and to unite them in neighborhood activities and functions to become a better, safer community.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
I'm Harold E. Johnson, candidate for the 2-year Osseo City Council. I've been a business or real estate owner in the Osseo area since 1958, living in Osseo over 40 years, member of the same church for 50 years. Was a member of the Osseo Lions Club for 45 years and held elected positions to all offices. Founding partner, owner of Johnson Gary Limited, Certified Public Accounting Office, retired as a CPA after 50 years of accounting, tax, and financial services to businesses and individuals of the area. Was active and a board member in various areas of Chambers of Commerce, currently serving the Osseo Economic Development Authority member. And I feel that as an Osseo City Council member, my experience and knowledge could be helpful to Osseo residents, businesses, staff, and all government agencies.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
Thank you and good evening. My name is Larry Stelmach. I'm a 13-year resident of Osseo. I have a family that I'm raising here, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Since January 2013, I've been fortunate enough to serve my fellow Osseoites on the Osseo City Planning Commission, which I am now the chair of, and the Osseo Economic Development Authority, which I am now the assistant treasurer of. These positions of service have been, if you'll allow my term, like a boot camp. The experience has prepared me to be immediately effective for the serious responsibility of becoming a city council member. Also, to prepare, I've actively attended almost all of the city workshops and meetings for almost 2 years to make sure I was up to speed on current city matters. I'm asking for voters to support me based on how I've already prepared and served. It examples my dedication and effectiveness to the future.
Thank you. Mr. Poppy?
Yes, well, thank you. Dwayne Poppy, I'm currently the mayor and running for the mayoral position this year. So, background, we've lived here, it'll be 15 years this year in December. We've got married with 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. Spent 3 years on the council, and now this is the second year of the 2-term year for mayor, and applying for running again this year to help continue to improve things and keep things going in the direction that we set out a few years ago, and we're making strides every day. So,
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Hi, good evening. My parents lived in Osseo since 1955. I was raised and schooled here. I graduated from Osseo High in 1976. I've been here almost all my life. I got involved in Osseo government about 5 years ago as an appointed council member. Then I ran the next election and won a 4-year term. I've spent the last 4 years on the Budget and Finance Committee as part of a team working to wisely account for every tax dollar, not just giving the budget to an administrator and telling him to do it. Our taxes are down for Osseo's portion for the 4th straight year, and yet we still have new equipment at Public Works, new computers in our administrative offices, our streets are being repaired, and now in the midst of building a new police station. Standard & Poor's is so sure of our work, they presented us with a plaque last week citing the city with very strong budgetary leadership, very strong cash levels, and strong management policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelna?
Hi, pardon me. I'm Ann Zelenak. I've been an Osseo resident for 5 years. I'm the mom of 2 girls, and I am the wife of an Osseo teacher. When my husband and I decided to move from Minneapolis to the Northwest Metro to be closer to family and work and friends, we knew that our new home had to be in Osseo because it really felt like a community. Professionally, I've worked in website development and online marketing for over 18 years. I've helped companies create and use websites, email, Facebook, and other social media to communicate and engage with their customers. I'm running for city council because I want to make sure the voices of all of our community members are heard, and I want our community to be more informed and more engaged in what's going on, and I plan to use the tools of my trade to make sure our citizens know about the issues in front of the council and have a chance to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question then goes to Mr. Johnson. What do you see as the strength of Osseo? How would you characterize the mood of the city's citizens today?
Strength is safety because of very qualified medical, police, and fire protection. School District 279 provides qualified education for new families' needs. Neighbors know neighbors and interact with one another. Care about what is happening in and around the city. Well informed through newspaper and TV coverage. Enjoy movies, music, and events of the park. Flower baskets and other plantings supported by the organizations and individuals. The credit to the recent council actions to obtain a higher credit rating. Those are strengths. The mood, very happy, excited, thankful, cooperative, always wanting to pay less taxes, unhappy with street construction and their maintenance program, looking for city council will represent the entire community, and keep from having lawsuits, litigations, as there were been in the past.
Thank you. Mrs. Zelma, yes.
Thank you. Osceo's core strength is its people. Osseo is a town full of people with diverse backgrounds, age groups, and lifestyles. The common desire to preserve the small town feel, our walkable community creates an atmosphere which people and businesses want to be in. This is a strength because every other city out there is competing for good residents and places to have businesses. I think overall the mood of the city is very positive. The businesses are excited about the extra traffic the new developments are bringing. I spoke to a property owner yesterday. It told me it looks like 2 new businesses want to come to town. That's in addition to the El Toro thing that I already mentioned before. Residential home values are increasing, so people pretty much like that. We have a second-to-none emergency services with our police and fire. Other than that, there's the normal challenges that would come with regular street reconditioning or snow plowing, but as we move forward, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Poppy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the strength of Osseo, I think, is the people. I mean, and their passion that they help and express what their views are, and how everybody wants it to be a little bit better, and they're not bashful to let us know about that. So we appreciate the input there. But I think also too is just Osseo. We have something special here. I mean, and we have a type of community that other communities try to build and try to manufacture, and we have it naturally built here. And I think that's going to really serve us well going forward and over the long term, because I think with the additions of some of these newer developments, it's going to continue to bring more people, which will allow them to be able to support the businesses downtown, and then everybody ends up being able to provide better services to all the residents at a lower cost. So, thanks.
Mr. Weber?
The people are our strength also, I agree. One of the strengths is also the amount of growth, such as 5 Central, the Osseo Gun Club, and ceramic industrial coatings, just to name a few. The redevelopment of the city will bring new opportunities to Osseo that will keep our housing values up and again make Osseo the place to live. And that is what keeps our homes such a great value in the Twin Cities area. I gauge the mood of the people by all the people I see and talk with, be it on the street, at home, in my yard, or at church at St. Vincent de Paul. And believe me, I do hear very many good things. In fact, it usually is much more pleasant from all the friends in our community.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
Well, obviously, the people of Osseo is the best part about it and our greatest asset. But for me, when we moved here, one of the biggest strengths that I saw was that it has that small town feel, but it's still really close to the metro area and all the great things that you have for that. And like Mayor Poppy said, there's a lot of communities trying to recreate that Main Street feel, and we have the original. And I think that you can't really recreate it. In general, I think the mood of the city is positive. The people I talk to are interested in what's going on and how the city uses its resources. I found that even if somebody possibly disagreed or strongly disagreed with a past decision, that the attitude is still that the past is the past, and let's move forward and make better decisions or positive decisions in the future. And I think that says a lot about the community and how everyone wants to work together to just make it the best city that we can.
Thank you. Our next question goes to Mr. Stelmach. What would you like to change or see done differently? What are your top 3 priorities if elected?
Thank you. First of all, I want to give credit to the current sitting council. Our city's financial position has improved to a point that the city's credit rating has improved. What would I like to see differently? I went back to an EDA meeting that I was in, and we were talking about advertising. If I'm fortunate enough to be elected to the city council, I'd like to look at alternatives as to how we spend our advertising dollars to get the name of Osseo out there. We're creating a destination city. Let's keep that momentum going. Priorities if elected: 1, keep the budget on course. The better the budget, the better, well, pretty much everything else. Less chance of a knee-jerk tax increase because we didn't plan. Next, I would promote Osseo as the place to be. Keep it being a destination site. And next, endeavor to keep that community feel.
Thank you. Mr. Poppy?
Well, yeah, I guess for me, it's, the continued financial strength that, we've worked so hard over the last 5 years to put Osseo in the position it was when we first got elected. It was always, so we're going to be Brooklyn Park or we're going to be Maple Grove. We got that asked all the time, and I think, we had to make some hard decisions at that time, and we said, that's not an option. We're going to be Osseo, and we're going to always stay Osseo. So we had to really dive into the budget. We spent 2.5 years building a financial management plan and a capital improvement plan for the city that helped set the course for the city over a long term and be able to understand your decisions today, what does that mean downstream, 5 years from now, and trying to utilize our services and provide those in the most cost-effective manner. So I think our continued financial, strength and due diligence, I guess you could say that we do. And then also, I think one thing too is I think now we've got kind of things done, we can help try to build, community a little bit more with all the different organizations.
Thank you, Mr. Weber.
Thank you. I would really like something to change. The people, I would love to see a lot more people at our council meetings. That would mean there'd be a lot more input and a lot more thoughts and a lot more ideas. Let's be honest, the tax dollars being spent here to run the city is all of ours, not just the 5 guys that sit up here and do this. It's nice to see Mr. Stalmach and Mr. Johnson at all the council meetings. We need to know how all of our tax dollars are being used. That's why I voted to put our budget, our capital improvement plan, and our financial management plan on the city's website where everybody can see them. It's a way to make it easier for everybody to keep an eye on what we're doing, and that's probably why Standard & Poor's gave us the AA- bond rating. The top 3 priorities are improving our aging infrastructure, restoring our roads, and doing what's best for the city of Osseo to keep it Osseo ours. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
I really couldn't agree more that my number 1 top priority is really improving community engagement. I talk to my neighbors and friends a lot about the issues in front of the council, but the reality is I don't know that many people that I'm friends with that come to council meetings, and getting to meetings can be a challenge. Like me, if you have kids, or any number of obstacles that could come in the way. Seniors may have challenges with transportation or bad weather, icy sidewalks. I want to use technology to bridge the gap between citizens and the council. There's a lot of channels we can use to get meeting agendas in front of people ahead of the meetings and to gather feedback or even to facilitate off-site participation during the actual meetings. We need to take a serious look at the potential of technology to engage our citizens because they want to be engaged.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
I'm going to respond to the previous question in regards to the strengths of Osseo. And I have to contribute that also to the community, but also to the leadership in our city hall, because they really took a step up and made some great decisions and made some magnificent changes over the past 4 years. So I really salute the gentlemen that are here and had over the last 4 years have done a great job. What I would like to see more of is, again, more community engagement. The community is growing, and that with that growth insinuates a diverse community. And of course, our voting rate for our general election usually is half participation. I like to see more people come out to vote. And Osseo is a jewel, and we need to highlight its radiance. So I would like to see that.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Concern is the snow emergency needs action before the new council takes over in January. It is necessary to provide alternative parking locations available for those who do not have off-street parking available to them where they live. There's a dissatisfaction with the project manager on First Avenue and 4th Street Northeast project. There will need to be considerable amount of changes in the future. City street maintenance has to be long-term solution rather than nearly every year patching the same areas over again. There's a need to add to the overall real estate valuations within the city, continue to attempt to put city-owned land back on the tax rolls through continued development projects, encourage current owners to improve the property taxes, make every effort to have single-family homeowners occupied whenever possible. And thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to correct something here. I escaped Mr. Jackson on the second question, and so I would like you to answer the second question, and then we'll proceed to Mr. Papi with our fourth question. So, what do you see as the strength of Osseo? How would you characterize the mood of the city's citizens today?
Okay, thank you. Again, I reiterate the other panelists made clear the people in the community is our strongest asset. But I also contribute the leadership of our city governors and our administrators, because they came into some mess, my understanding, and they did a marvelous job in correcting a lot of things that needed to be taken care of. I think that we live in a jewel of a community, and people are coming together, but I think we need to do a better job in engaging them and reaching out to them. I look at some of the administrators as business people, and then politicians, and then we, that's great. We have to extend our resources to engage community to come out. And thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Papi, this is your question. How should the city address its aging population? What support should the city provide to our senior citizens?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we've debated that for quite a while, and look at, because you look at the demographics of Osseo, I mean, we kind of have that barbell effect. We have a bunch at the lower end and then a bunch at the higher end, and not a whole lot in between. So as we looked at, different services that we can provide on both ends, I know we're looking at, some additional park and rec and some other services for kind of the younger families and with children, but also on the aging population. That's why we looked at some of the activities in the community center, just with the bingo and things like that. But also this year, then we implemented the aerobics and the chair exercise and some other things to allow for, that part of the population to have an opportunity to get out and come together and, do some physical activity.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Thank you. My dad still lives on 3rd Avenue where I grew up. He usually tells me what he thinks of aging. He's 84 years old. He's pretty honest. Seriously, I think we have already given one of the biggest safety precautions we could be by providing our own police department that can respond to virtually any emergency, usually within 90 seconds. Now that says it all. It's called public safety, and I'm all for our own homegrown fire and police departments. We have recently started a jazzercise workout session for our seniors in our community center, which is turning out to be a great success. We'll be further looking into other activities and services by gauging and finding out from all participants in the class. We hope to be able to provide more activities and still keep our costs to where everybody can enjoy them. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
There's a perception that social media is only for the young, but the latest research says that 70 to 80% of people over age 50 use the internet daily, and many of them use social media to connect with their children and grandchildren. So I think there's a huge potential to interact with our senior citizens in new ways. To do that, I think it's important to look at the access our seniors have to technology, and as well as make sure that they have opportunities to learn how to use the new technologies so they're more confident. Research has also found that using the internet can reduce depression by over 30% in senior citizens. So not only are we going to help our citizens be more engaged in what's going on in their government, we're going to improve their quality of life if we make sure that they have access to these new technologies.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
I think that I would like to elaborate with our senior population. We have a lot of history there. Our seniors have a lot of history of just and a wealth of knowledge that if we could have a platform that where our young people can engage with them, and then it could be an exchange off where there's history shared, but then also latest technology as well as our candidate just expressed. We need to break down some barriers here so that our kids don't get left off and miss out on the history that our seniors in this area possess.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
What the city can do helping seniors will apply to many homeowners in the city. Many of the houses are at an age where considerable maintenance is going to be required, whether the owner will continue to live in it or put it up for sale. Some cities have a program for financial help through various sources. If a home is over 50 years of age, improvements made will not increase real estate taxes payable for 10 years or so, provided that the ownership does not change within that period of time. A program like this will encourage new home ownership, owner-occupied improvements, younger homeowners. Seniors may be able to stay in their homes to make them available to another family. Every attempt should be made to keep Osseo homes owner-occupied, which encourages better upkeep, community involvement, and a safer, livable city.
Thank you. Mrs. Stelmach?
The aging population to me is an asset. These great people are a connection to our city's history. If there's anything I'd like to keep my finger on the pulse of, I would do everything I can to support our emergency services team of police and fire. No matter what your age, anyone who needs help does not want to wait that long. They've achieved an average response time of less than 2 minutes. The senior citizens I've come to know and interact with regularly, they strike me as happily independent. Recently, an aerobics class has been offered by the city. Moving forward, I would say more cooperative efforts with surrounding cities would be nice. And by that, I mean the seniors have more than just one place to go because the cities around us, we have a strategic alliance with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weber, this is your question. Local businesses are taxpayers, but often not voting residents. In what way will you reach out to best understand their needs and provide for fair representation in city council decision-making? Please share your thoughts.
I will reach out by keeping on doing what we have been doing to bring more people to town, be it living at a place like 5 Central or by coming to the Osseo Gun Club to practice. Both sets of these people we would hope would stop at Dean's on their way home for milk and diapers or go to one of the fine eateries for a burger and a beer. We need to keep new businesses coming to Osseo for the existing businesses to keep up their services for all the people that live here and all the people that will soon be living here. Just look at the surrounding borders of Osseo. There's a lot of construction going on. Some of these people are bound to find their way into Osseo. We need to work together with them to keep them here and get them here.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
I believe in supporting local businesses whenever I can. There's definitely a strong correlation between a thriving business district and a thriving community. They rely heavily on each other. We want businesses to stay, and we need them to be successful. So I think it's just a matter of staying connected, staying engaged, visiting their businesses as customers, but staying and talking to the owners as their council representative. I think at the end of the day, we need to make sure business owners know we support them and that we all want the same thing.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Osseo consists of over 2,400 people, residents in our community, and I would like to see more activities or more venues open up to folks that aren't beer drinkers or are young people that are taking on other cities because we don't have enough activities for them to reside here and be safe at home. They have to venture out right now, and I would like to see more activities that could be generated here in our community.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
I have made an attempt to visit all Osseo businesses. I have also left literature at nearly every resident location of the city. I have made note of some of the concerns and comments, and I will be sharing those with the staff as requested, and maybe even the council. I found most that are happy with the city staff, council effectiveness, operations of the police and fire department. There are only 3 business owners that live in Osseo. The other business owners are well aware that they have no opportunity to say anything at who becomes elected in this city. I've left my phone number with them. I will work with them and help them even if I'm not elected to the council. In my many years as a CPA working with individuals and businesses in Osseo and the surrounding area, I have an understanding of their concerns, problems, needs with the local, state, and federal requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
It's a great question and a fair one. It touches some of the core work that the Economic Development Authority does. Firstly, I'd like to respond to what I think the local businesses really want. I'd say that continuing to shop at their stores and encouraging others to do the same is a great start. Next, stopping in to say hi and then listen. Frankly, it strikes me as very possible to represent residents and businesses without anybody feeling disenfranchised. And here's a very important component as well. During visits, encourage everyone to attend or tune in to watch the council sessions. It's on Channel 16 if you have local cable. The most successful work can be accomplished if we're all as informed as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
You know, I think just continuing to listen, to the business owners as, having conversations with them, understanding what the needs are and ultimately how they interweave within the goals of the city, because ultimately, it's not us versus them, citizens versus business owners. We're kind of all in this together, and I think that kind of having that common vision and common goal to, again, provide things that is most beneficial to all people, regardless if they're citizens or business owners, because that just ultimately makes the city better and it's more enjoyable for everyone to be here. And ultimately, like we've said countless times before, just listen, and understand what their needs are rather than what you think they should be. So,
Thank you. Before our closing question, here are some questions from our audience that are here with us today. And that question first goes to Mrs. Zelnick. What are your plans for bringing in new businesses to Osseo and making it more affordable for business to stay?
I think past councils have done a really good job bringing in new businesses, but I think going forward we should now focus a little more on bringing in more family-friendly businesses and restaurants that would also serve as community gathering places. We need to look at what might be keeping these kinds of businesses from locating here and see if there are any solutions that the city can provide to remove any roadblocks.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
I think that there needs to be more businesses that offer a variety of different services. We have some very unique shops. We have antique shops downtown. We have jewelry shops, and I think we could do a better job in communicating that more. Maybe our residents in our own backyards might not even know what we have right down the street from them, so I think we could do a better job with that.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
I think with the 500 Central Avenue project, we're going to see a completely different type of clientele in occupying these premises, and they will be bringing additional traders to the stores and purchasers and people of interest. And I think you will see some of these vacant properties being occupied by new businesses that will want to locate in Osseo. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
Thank you. It goes back to my last comment. What would I do? Listen. Listen to the property owners and what they're looking for, what kind of tenant. When I'm out and about grocery shopping or out of town, listen to a business owner who's talking about something or something that might appeal to him. Find how it fits, then actively go after it.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
I guess for me, it's just, continuing to use the resources that I have. My day-to-day job is commercial real estate, so I, usually hear about who's moving around and who's looking for space. I was talking to the retail people or different industries that are out there. I mean, one, in regards to family-friendly that I think we're going to get done here is we're beginning a 3-on-3 hockey rink in town. That'll bring a lot of young families and, some additional people. So, we continue to look for new opportunities like that.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Thank you. The city truly doesn't know how lucky we are to have Mr. Papi as a mayor and the job that he does do for his day-to-day living. He has helped bring many of these things true, but I also am with Mr. Stalmach in listening to the people. The people pretty much dictate on what they want, when they want, and how they want it. So business opportunities come from that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, Mr. Jackson. Although there seem to be a number of new business opening in Osseo, there still appears to be many empty businesses. What would you do to attract new businesses to Osseo?
Well, I know Osseo have and had at one time a business incubation program where it would give some incentives to small businesses, especially starting out, that I think we could do some implementation with that. Looking at reaching out to other small businesses in our neighboring communities that might be looking for a change.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
With my visits to many of the businesses located here, a lot of them are in leased property. They are all happy with their current landlords, and I think if the right businesses come to the landlords that are holding properties for rent, they will be filling those out. They are careful in leasing to individuals wanting to start businesses without experience, and so therefore that is some of the reasons why you don't see these buildings being filled up as soon as what would be expected. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach.
Thank you. I would ride the destination wave. We've got a gun club coming to town that's going to pull people from miles away. We have industrial ceramics. We've got other companies that are growing, bringing new people to town. I would revisit how we currently advertise. I'll touch that again. Think outside the box a little bit. I've heard new technology talked about, and that's absolutely correct. We don't have to go with the same old advertising methods.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
Yeah, I think we need to kind of continue to make Osseo a place that people want to be. I always joke, I said, Osseo is one of the greatest places in the world, and people just kind of chuckle. But, I truly believe that, and I think, the more the community rallies around the city rallies around the community, I think it breeds a place that people want to be, and ultimately that's what's going to drive business here.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
We have a great staff, the city of Osseo does, and we also have somebody on staff as a city planner. And we're also looking at changing our website, and actually just changed it, and adding some additions to it. And that city planner will be hands-on with that to attract new businesses, to keep the doors open, to provide them with all the knowledge they need Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
Well, just sort of to continue with my answer to the previous question, I think it's a matter of figuring out what the roadblocks are from businesses, and we need to understand that we're not the only game in town. There's a lot of options that new business owners have. And I think it's a matter as well as communicating with prospective business owners that the community supports them and that we want them to be successful here.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, how would you propose to balance the need for seniors and youth in Osseo?
We had a church wishing to come into the Osseo area and have a drop-in place for high school-age children, and this came before the Planning Commission and was voiced thoroughly, and I think that that's one of the things that would be a good addition to the city, and I have no idea where that's at, but I strongly support such a thing.
Thank you. Mrs. Stelmach?
Thank you. The balance need is you have to find something that appeals to both parties. Upgrading the parks, such as the mayor was talking about, that's already on the city plan. There's a new pavilion, essentially, that's going to be going up towards Site Park. Everybody can enjoy that equally. Support ideas like that so you're not niching one person versus the other, but provide something that everyone can enjoy universally.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
I think it's, continue to provide different opportunities for, all people, because all things don't fit for all people, and be able to provide opportunities and activities that expand to the widest range of people, and, trying to do some of the things that we've done at the senior center, and, still trying to do some things, for the youth of this town. So it's an ongoing process we continue to work on.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Thank you. I would like to actually echo just about everybody's sentiment here. We have all tried to figure this out. How can we get it together? How can we find things for the young and the old? How can we keep our tax dollars best spent at these things? And it's a very hard situation to deal with, but yet we're still working on it, and we will always keep working on it to keep everybody well aware of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
I don't always think that these are mutually exclusive audiences. If you look at the movies and music in the park, they're well attended cross-generationally. Lions were a parade. You see everyone out there enjoying it. But as far as specific needs for the populations, I think we kind of need to look at what our niche could be, because there are a lot of opportunities in neighboring communities. So is there something that we can provide that will actually bring in youth from other communities or seniors coming into our community to participate in bringing some of those dollars? Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
I think a lot of the other neighboring cities, they have community organizers, community outreach workers, and I see that's something that we're missing here. I think the Movies in the Park is a great venue for people to come together, and we need to continue that. The Lions Roar, we have a fabulous turnout each and every year. People come from all over. So we're doing some really great things here in the community, but we just need somebody to take a handle of that position and go out there and just rally the troops. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach, how much of our city's budget are you willing to allocate to support our police and fire department? Please give your answer as a dollar amount or as a percent of the budget. May I please take this again?
Yes, ma'am.
How much of our city's budget are you willing to allocate to support our police and fire department? Please give your answer as a dollar amount or as a percent of the budget.
I would say that's a significant question because you're asking about specific dollar amounts without having the city budget sitting in front of me. And it's a big piece of paper, so I usually have it in front of me to talk about things like that. But I would say I would be pretty on par with what the current council's done. They've held a good line with the budget. This year, the last council session, it looked like the city was going to lower city service cost 0.13% with everything else that's going on. They have the ability to do that. That's fantastic. I would say we're pretty on par.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
You know, that's always an interesting question. Comes up every election season. But, you know, the thing you got to understand is, one, I mean, our response rate and the services they provide and actually what the cost of it is pretty cheap for what we get. And everyone takes a pot shot at public service, but if you want to look at another big line item in the budget that no one really looks at is public works. And if you want to really dive into the numbers, there's an issue you can look at, and that's one thing that we continue to look at. So, I mean, I think we're on par for what we get.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
I will echo Mr. Papi on that. We have a public works department that funds come from many different areas, so it's tough to get a handle on costs and expenditures. So we constantly battle with that. Our public safety dollar, to me, and always will be our wisest dollar spent. The percentage, I don't have the exact percentage on our hand, but for what we get for our 90 seconds of service to get to my parents' home, I'll double it. I don't care. That's personal. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
I would like to commend the current council for keeping the police department local. And I think it's important. I'm not going to have any information on numbers or percentages, but it's a priority to make sure that our police and fire department, they have the equipment that they need and the training on how to use it, and they need to be able to do their jobs as best as possible while keeping them as safe as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Well, I agree with what's been said. We just added on another building for the police department, which was taken out of the budget. So there has been a slight increase, if I'm not mistaken, but I think the city is right on par with what they've been contributing, and I definitely support having the police department here in the cities.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
It's a hard question for those of us who have not been active with the budget plannings, but whatever we're spending is well taken for us. I live in the real-life complex across the street, and we have at least 2 or 3 calls per month over there, and we are an independent living facility. And if we're using them that much, many of the assisted living facilities are using them more, and so it's money well spent. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Papi, how do you propose to fund the much-needed improvement in our streets?
Well, I mean, I think you look at, the long-term financial management plan, the capital improvement plan that we put together. I mean, from all the funds, the water, storm sewer, sanitary sewer, road, there's nothing. I mean, nothing in any of those funds. We have to continue to be creative on the way, and we're behind the 8 ball. There hasn't been a major road project done since the early 90s, and everybody kept kicking the can down the road to the next council. We've had to make some hard decisions and continue to do those to improve our streets.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
I'm just going to keep kicking the can that Mr. Papi just started. we have battled and we have battled, and I actually starting to see some daylight at the end of the tunnel. We, as a collective group, will figure out a way to get this done. We have the right people working on it. We will keep working on it. Our engineers are working on it. They keep producing plans for us, and we keep working and tweaking, and we will figure out a way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
I think it's important that we all recognize that improving any street in Osseo is a benefit to everyone here, because it shows prospective homeowners and businesses that Osseo is a city looking to the future, and we're not going to crumble and be left behind. Because of this, I do think it's more appropriate to cover these expenses as part of the budget rather than assessing property owners individually. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Again, that's a pretty tough question. But I think we continue to need to look outside the box, look at other resources that may be available to us. Because my interest is in entertainment, I see a huge market in bringing and supporting local talent to help us generate some of those funds, and that's looking outside the box.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
One of the largest complaints that I hear out there when I'm visiting people is the First Avenue and the 4th Street project, which is currently underway. A number of people very learned in the construction field said that this is a project that was not done in the cheapest way and the most efficient way that we could have our project done. And I'm going to tell you, if I get elected, that's going to be one of the first things we're going to take a look at is how this project came about and why. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach.
Thank you. That's a subject that's been in the last couple of council meetings that I've been to, improving the streets. I think the mayor said it best. We're in a long-term plan situation. You can't expect streets that haven't seen any love since the 90s to not need significant repair, and that's likely going to cost some money. The action plan that I would have would be keep working on bringing new businesses to town. We get new developers to come. They take a piece of land that had low tax value, turn it into something with high tax value. All of a sudden, the city has some extra funds to do the road repairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Warber, this is your question. I have 2 young children and moved to Osseo in part because I believe it has a history of being a family-friendly community. What should the council do in order to preserve and even develop our community for children and families?
Sorry, she was moving
Oh,
some
it's all right.
papers here. I couldn't hear the
Okay.
last part of it.
I'll read it again. I have 2 young children and moved to Osseo in part because I believe it has a history of being a family-friendly community. What should the council do in order to preserve and even develop our community for children and families?
Well, as I stated earlier, there is a fine line between the seniors and the young. We have discussed this in the last 6 weeks, I believe, or 8, what we could do for the youth. And we are having a little bit of trouble grasping at straws to figure out how we can have it the way I grew up, with a whole city full of young kids. It was a fantastic place to grow up, and I'd love to see that happen again, but we'll work on it.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
As I said earlier, I think the new direction of focus for businesses is to kind of focus on family-friendly businesses where they can serve as community gathering places. I think it's really important to make participation in council meetings easier for families, which gets back to using some of the technology that I talked about. I think an email to a council person or even a post on Facebook is just as important and needs to be considered as part of the council as well. So access and engagement is a huge part of that.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Well, as the next city council member, I would look at some of the vacant properties that we have here in the cities and see if we can't transform them into a multi-use recreational entertainment, social gathering place that could meet all those needs at various times. Right now, we only have the community center, and of course, it's just not being utilized as much as it could be.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Site Park, which is a gathering place in one side of the city, almost everything that's been put onto that park has come through various sources outside of tax resources. The only tax resource that's used there is maybe the lighting and the maintenance of the park after it's once set up. We are lucky to have a very giving organization like the Osseo Lions, who has sponsored most of those costs into that property. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
Thank you. I like the question. There's a lot of consistency in my answers, though. Family friendly. How do we preserve it? Well, we make sure that our emergency services are well in place. Again, 90 seconds response time is fantastic, whether you're 2 or 200. The parks, the city's plan to keep developing the parks, everybody can enjoy that. We've got ball fields. We get enough new youth. We could have our own little Osseo Little League. We're seeing more and more kids coming, and that's a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
Yeah, I think, continue to bring in businesses that are family-friendly, like the 3-on-3 hockey and some of this stuff. I think, continue to, with our long vision of the parks, developing those. I think the park across the street, we have one chance to get it right and make it special. I think we need to figure that out and do it right. I think also, too, I think there needs to be more coordination with the high schools and the junior highs, and build that community back up with them, because for a lot of those kids at the high school, the city and the school is the only community they have, and we have to rally around each other.
Thank you. If you aren't elected, in what ways will you continue to be visible? If you aren't elected, in what ways will you continue to be visible part of Osseo, Ms. Zelnick?
Love that question because this has been my time to start getting involved in city council. I haven't been able to really attend meetings before, but I plan to use my personal social media site and my email to send out, to pay attention to when the agenda comes out and send it out, and to get information, whether it's me as a council person or me being able to come to the meetings and sharing these opinions. I still plan on engaging and using new avenues to make sure everyone has a chance.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Wow. I didn't even think of that one, but because I plan on winning. I wanted to do an event October 4th that was going to bring families out. I just think that there needs to be more activities continuing. I will be still active in doing so, reaching out to the community and trying to create activities to bring them together.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
My term on the Economic Development Authority is still running, even if I'm not elected to the council, and I will continue to work there, which is working on a lot of projects and the bare land that the city does own, putting that back on the tax rolls, and I'd also like to see some monies and fundings go back to the residents and for they can improve their homes that they're living in. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
Thank you. I would continue my efforts on the Planning Commission and the Economic Development Authority for as long as I'm allowed to serve on there. I would continue to attend the city council meetings, the budget workshops. If you don't know, you really can't make any changes. So I would just continue to be engaged at every level. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Poppy?
Well, I guess if I don't get reelected, then I guess I would continue to stay involved in the community via, the council meetings are on the web, so you don't have to have 7 o'clock carved out every Monday night to be here or every other Monday. You can view them on the web. Stay informed and know what's going on. Having conversations with the people that on the council or even city staff, and I'm providing input because ultimately the more input you have, the better decision you may make.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Elected, not elected, it doesn't matter. I've helped many people. I'm that type of person. I'm a helper. I'll help a business owner. I'll help a friend. I'll help a neighbor. Whatever it takes to keep Osseo has always been a challenge, and it'll always stay that way. I've been here for a very long time. I don't plan on going anywhere. My wife has her schedule all lined up. So we're not leaving town, and that's just how it'll be. I'm a helper. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson, do you support tax abatement policies to attract new businesses? Why and why not?
I do support tax abatement because it helps to grow the communities. It helps to develop the communities. I am opposed to tax abatement that is being misused by developers when they use the finances to develop properties and then with the hopes of occupying, and then they don't get it occupied. Now we have all these vacant buildings out there and we continue to build.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
As an Economic Development Authority member, there are many different options in our toolbox that can be used to attract the interest of a developer to the city. Tax abatement has not been an option used recently by Osseo. Many cities have been using tax abatements, but under circumstances that are different from what we have in Osseo. However, this does not mean that sometime that will not be considered in the future. The EDA needs to keep all possible options open and use whatever needs meets the needs project that will stop that are under consideration at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
Thank you. I'm glad we got that question in.
Thank you.
Osseo is less than 1 square mile. We have to pay for the same type of city services that, let's say there's a city that's 2 or 3 square miles. That means each person in Osseo has to contribute more for that city service. So tax abatement to me essentially says everyone has to pay more because somebody's going to pay less. If there's an exceptional situation that the city can get return on that investment such that more money would actually come back, then that would make sense. Otherwise, no.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
Yeah, tax abatement hasn't been something we've really looked at. I mean, we can leave it open for some situation that makes the ultimate sense, but I mean, I haven't seen it, in the developments we do. I mean, you're not going to see it around the state. I mean, we've used TIF. People talk about that, but you realize you're not losing any of your tax base when you do the TIF. It's just the increase in the difference. Really the goal there is you're using the school districts and the county's money, because your taxes on your city taxes are only about 20%, 25% of the total tax. So.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank
Weber?
you. That question would be best answered if you knew that it meant 250 new jobs, 400 new homes, and a large factory was being built in Osseo. Now, we all know that's not going to happen. I would be hesitant to use tax abatement because it would directly affect our tax base and hurt our general fund. As I found when we started the Budget and Finance Committee, the Main Street Reconstruct was under some form of abatement. Before the abatement was implemented at that time, we, the Budget and Finance Committee, changed it to make the financing more transparent so that everyone could see how their tax dollars are being spent.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnok?
Well, I have to admit, this isn't something I'm very knowledgeable about, but it sounds like it's something that we'd want to look at on a case-by-case basis. The reason we want businesses here to locate here is because they provide for a stable tax base, and they use our roads and they rely on our public services. So,
Thank you. Mr. Johnson? You did. I'm sorry about that.
I'll answer it again.
No, thank you. Our next question goes to Mrs. Stelmach. How would you work with council members of varying viewpoint to reach consensus on issues for the good of the whole city?
Great question.
Thank you.
Great question. The key, anytime that you have two opposing views, is to keep it from becoming an argument. You have to keep it a discussion. The minute it becomes an argument, no solutions are going to come of that. It's going to get tabled, it's going to move on, it's going to be a kick the can. I would keep it at the discussion level. Goes back to something I said before. I have to be able to listen, and I would ask that same respect.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
I think we've had our different people here in different chairs, so we've seen all different things over the last few years. And I think ultimately it's listening to what that person is saying. I mean, and it's truly listening. It's not I hear you yelling or I hear you disagreeing, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to shoot back at you. It's trying to understand their perspective, because ultimately the best decision is in the middle there somewhere, and it's understanding all the varying views and perspectives is what helps make the best decision.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
If anybody has noticed, this council now spends more time debating than anywhere near arguing. This council has discussed, planned, worked, staff, and that's back to the question I answered earlier. Let's get more people here. Let's get more people involved. There isn't any time for argument. It's time for work, time to listen, time to get it done. Let's be Osseo.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnok?
I think varying viewpoints is kind of the definition of a city council. You don't really want everyone to have the same opinion. And I was recently given some advice about being a good council person, and they said you have to leave Ann Zelenak, the person at home, when you go to meetings and make decisions that are best for Osseo as a whole. And it's advice I plan to take.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Well, I've seen this current administration in action, and I believe in action, and that's why I'm running for city council, because I want to be a part of this action team. They're a no-nonsense group. They know how to agree and then disagree and move forward and get the job done. What's the goal is the bottom line, and they deal with it, and they come out with some very impressive outcomes.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
One thing that is important is that I think all council people should have researched any subject that is going to be coming before the council for discussion, and have at least a reason for voting whichever way they're going to vote, whether for or against, and also should allow the other council people to know ahead of time your feelings while the discussion is going on, instead of just all at once make the decision at the very end to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. And now our final question from the audience, and then we'll go to our closing question. So this question goes to Mr. Papi. What was the defining moment that made you decide to run for city council? At this time, I'll just say again.
Or mayor.
Well, I mean, that can go way back now. I was a three-term council member and a single-term mayor, and hopefully be a two-term mayor. But I mean, it went back to, I've been in front of city councils across the metro, and at that time, I felt it was time for me to get involved. Try to make a change rather than just sit back and, bitch about it somewhere at the, Dean's or down at the coffee cooler. So I just decided, time is right. It's time to make a change, time to do things better, and that's what ultimately led me here.
Thank you. Mr. Weber?
Repeat the question.
Okay. What was the defining moment that made you decide to run for city council?
Get involved, to be part of the place where I was brought up. People here have always been something to me. It's a marvelous place. It's close to everything. I grew up here. It was one family after another here. It was just a phenomenal place to be, and it still is. It's just a hoot to see all these young couples come to town with kids and to be able to tell them what it was like.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
Oh, I decided I wanted to be a part of city council almost immediately after we moved here 5 years ago because I love Osseo and I'm very proud to live in Osseo. At the time we moved, my daughters were 6 months old and 3 years old. Now that they're older, it's just the right time.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Well, after 15 years of doing community service in other cities, serving my community is very important to me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to raise my son here, and I want to be a part of this growing community. And I believe that there's a lot of things that could change, and I want to be a part of the change.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
My reason for running for council was that as I joined the EDA, I found that I could give to the city additional information that it was not currently available through finance and tax and dealing with businesses and individuals that I'd done my entire life. And so therefore, I think that at this point, I am able to lend to the city and the residents something that has not been fully available to them in the past that I can bring to the council and its participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stelmach?
My defining moment to run for city council came when having a local police department was jeopardized. I couldn't have that. I'm raising a family here. I got twin 5-year-olds and a wonderful wife. I tell everybody I live in Mayberry, like back on the Andy Griffith Show. We need a local police department for that safety and security. Out of respect for the chair, I wanted to be effective, boots on the ground, operational. So I trained myself and got experience on the Planning Commission and EDA. I attended meetings that I wasn't required to so that I could be informed. The minute I sit down, I'm ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidates, this is our last question. In summary, how do you intend to best serve the city and move it forward? Mr. Weber?
My theory has always been do what's best for the city of Osseo, there's no doubt. Listen to the people and always ask for their help and their input. I take this job very seriously. I believe I've only missed 2 meetings in almost 5 years. I plan to keep on doing what I have been to keep it moving forward. All you have to do is look in any direction from where we are right now. And I think you'll be able to see it is all surrounded by construction, so it must be working. Thank you for all of your support. I thoroughly enjoy my time as your council member of the city of Osseo. Let's keep it moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelnick?
Like I've said before, I'm really just committed to getting more members of this community engaged in what's going on at City Council. As you've heard tonight, we all want what we think is best for Osseo, and we all want to represent our citizens, and we can't do that without our citizens. We can no longer rely on our neighbors to knock on our door or give us a call all the time. The world is now on demand. People are really used to information being sent to them rather than having to go actively look for it. But the good news is that these tools are out there, they're available, You know, I'm on Facebook, but so is my 70-year-old mom, so is my babysitter. And we need to really look at all the tools available and make better use of them so that all of our citizens can understand what's going on in the council, maybe not watching a taping of it after the fact, but learning about it beforehand so that they can participate or participate in a different way during the meeting. So I think that's how we can best serve Osseo.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Real people want real solutions, and I want to be the person to help advocate for the people in the community. If nothing that I said tonight impacts you, then listen to this. Get involved. We need you as a community. We need you as a society. Get involved. Do something. Run for something. Cut your neighbor's yard. Don't be a stranger. Don't be clogged, held up in your household. Become a part of your community because it's not going nowhere. But I hope that this forum helped, to understand who we are and why we want to serve. And I do want to be your next city council person.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
A strength that I would bring to the city council is that I have worked directly with businesses and individuals my entire working career, and as many years as a resident of Osseo. I will, if elected to the city council, I will not participate in any matter which could have a conflict of interest. This is what I've done as an EDA member in the past, and I will continue on as a council member. The one thing that I found out as I visited residents in the community is they may not be here sitting down in the chairs that in front of us, but they are watching it on TV, reading the newspaper. Most of our citizens are very well informed, and they have feelings, and they have strong feelings, and they want a strong council and a continuation of what we have been doing in the past. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the North Hennepin Chamber for sponsoring this forum, allowing us the opportunity to speak before the city Osseo voters.
Thank you. Mrs. Stelmach?
And thank you, Ms. Moderator.
Thank you.
I would use the skills that I've developed on the Planning Commission and EDA to navigate a good idea or a problem, take it across the river, because I knew how to get there, into a real-life solution. To do that, I have to be to the meetings, I have to be on time, and I have to be prepared. That means going to the sites that we're talking about, looking at them, walking them, touching them. Another thing I would do is I would maintain my connection with my fellow Osceoites. I don't know if that's a real word, but I like it. I'd go visit people as I shop in town, and again, I keep saying the same thing, listen. How are you going to do your job right if you don't know what the people are saying? Lastly, I would continue to interact with business owners or entrepreneurs and find the right fit. This landlord likes this particular type of person. This business has the same personality. Put them together. You can never put a square block in a round hole. That means you got to be thinking about where's that square hole so it'll fit. Thank you very much. My name is City Council. How about that? My name is Larry Stelmach. I ask for your vote so I may continue to serve you being on the Osseo City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Papi?
I guess how do I best intend to serve? I think continue to take that long-term perspective on the city and try to find solutions that are best for the city long-term. And it's you need to always constantly weigh the things you hear. Is it the vocal minority or is it the silent majority that are talking? And sometimes, you got to really listen and you got to understand and make those decisions that aren't knee-jerk decisions or decisions that, this makes sense right now. Sometimes you have to make those hard decisions that are long-term in perspective. So keeping that in mind and, having the plan that we've put in place and just kind of continue to work the plan and not abandoning it and kind of seeing it through at this point. And again, just continue to get more and more different perspectives because I think that's ultimately the best decision is out there.
Thank you. Once again, on behalf of the League of Women Voters and the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank the candidate for agreeing to participate in tonight's forum. I would also like to thank the voters for attending and participating by submitting excellent questions. And I would like to thank the viewing audience as well for their excellent work done here tonight. Remember that if we could not get to your question tonight, or you have any further questions for the candidate, we invite you to contact them directly with your concerns. Please remember to vote on November 4th as your vote truly counts. Thank you and have a good evening.